Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, and the USO. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So let's get right into the daily chart on the SPY. We talked about we're coming up in the resistance. The only way they're going to pop it through is on some news or gap it up over. And pretty wild day on Wall Street. If you look at the 10-minute chart, we pretty much fell, pretty much opened right at gap fill, faded the whole day, came into this little pivot area here, got some support, chopping around during lunch, right at 11 o'clock, 10:45, boom, we start going, volume starts dropping, and then bam, right at, was it 2 o'clock? The OPEC, we promised we're going to do it this time. We're going to cut output in, I think it was November or one of the months that are coming up, something like that. But again, we get the bid. That's the only way these guys are getting it back up over the 220 MA. And they've made a good run for the 50 today. Let's see if we could gap up over this tomorrow and possibly go into this high pivot again around 217.46. It's just truly amazing, guys, how the markets are completely news-driven crap at this point. And when we're going up and down 100, 200, 100 up, 200 down, 100 up, this is not good. We talked about this coming into this area, this pivot, bouncing for 2 days, down 2 days. Do we go down 2 days tomorrow? I don't know. But eventually, if they could get it above this 50 MA and close the fill the gap up here, it could possibly go higher. If this thing can't get above this 50 MA, which I think they're going to gap it above and try to get it going and go for this gap fill tomorrow or Friday. But we're going to see. Again, this is an irrational market. You have to be really, really careful in these. When you're taking trades, don't load the boat. You're going to have to add here and there and then try to just get something out of them at this point. Let's look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, we got a couple more days, but still nice consolidation. Inside bar, trying to get above the 216.67 area. That's where we kind of stopped and stalled out today. What is that? Well, that's not. That was the high in here. You got a little bit of resistance up in this area too. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Monthly chart, like I said, we got a couple more days. We'll see where we close. We'll look at that one. Let's look at the IWM. IWM, same thing. We get the news, comes right back up. Remember, we got above this area, which was huge, reversed it, came back in, bouncing off this area. Did we fill the gap? Oh, gosh. 81. Nope, we didn't fill it well. Hold on here. Let's go back. Did we fill this gap right here? No, not yet. So 124.85. I wouldn't doubt if they pop it over that and try to keep it going tomorrow morning. Let's go back to the daily. Right now we're just chopping around here. We went up, looked at slightly bullish, pulled it back. Now we're in an inside bar, chopping around in a bearish manner, but still slightly bullish on the since it's above the moving averages here, the 20 and the 50. Weekly chart, same thing. Until we get above this 125.71 and close and confirm, I still think we have a possibility of moving lower. We have an inside bar, excuse me guys, an inside bar, couldn't get above it. We're trying to make a run for it. Let's see at the end of the week if this thing can close above this bar. Then we'll reevaluate this chart, see if this could possibly go higher. Monthly, same thing. We got to see where this thing closes in the next couple of days, and then we'll reevaluate. This is a big trend line up here, guys, for me. It goes through price, but at this point, I like this one in here because this is where it seems to be going to. But again, all-time high up here. But this move up here on no volume, this is just pathetic, in my opinion. Again, lagging indicator, still not at the all-time highs. Everything is kind of slowly pushing back. But what I think what will happen is, let's look at the weekly. This will start falling. Everything else will start to stay up. And then when this thing gets going, the IWM, the rest of the markets will follow. Qs. Qs up 20 cents today. That was pretty much the weakest one out of all of them, which I'm pretty surprised, But the Qs had a pretty good run yesterday at it. So today's run, I mean, they pulled back and look at the intraday action. Came right into this support right in there. 200 moving average bounced around. Oil came out. It kind of chopped around. Everything else just flew. But we came up into this little pivot around 1877. I believe that was or 1867. Oh gosh, that's right. You got to go back. My charts don't even go back that far. There was like actually they pulled it out. Wow. But daily, right there, that's the one. 1877. So right in that area, that's where they popped it. We're right back into that area. That was the all-time high at one point. Let's see if we can get above that and if it can continue up. If it has some problems getting through here again, we're gonna probably end up turning around and going right back down. News-driven markets, not good. Yeah, look, oil. Look, this. Look, Janet Yellen and no rates. Look, the good jobs report. It's all a bunch of crap, guys, and they're just holding it up, and eventually we're gonna when this one tanks this time, guys, you better look the hell out. That's all I can say. Qs, again, chopping around. We had a nice reversal, trying to make a breakout. Let's see what happens at the end of the week. Monthly chart, let's see if we close above this high pivot here, which was the 117 or 118.77 or right in that area. Let's see if we could get up into that area and close by Friday. DIA. DIA up $1.10, 0.60%. Not bad. They recaptured the 20 MA. They filled the gap up here, kept going. On the news, of course, remember, this thing was coming in pretty good. We filled the gap here, kept going down. Then we came into the same thing, this upper resistance right in there. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Taps it, comes in, news comes out, boom, right back up. Where do we end up going up? Is there anything up in here? No. But we have a gap fill up in here, around 183.64. We have the window right here. Let's see if they could gap this thing above it in the morning and try to get this one going. Again, you have a gap fill up here. You have the upper trend line. You have this trend line coming in from here. So you have a lot of resistance. 50 MA coming up. Let's see. They're going to have to gap this thing up or really push it tomorrow, or possibly get it as close as you can and up in this area so they can gap it up on Monday and try to recapture, gap fill, get up on this high pivot and keep it going. But at this point, we're still inside this bar. We are above the 20. Let's see what data we get tomorrow on the daily to try to figure out which way this thing's going. Weekly chart, same thing. Inside bar, we're above the 20 MA. Let's see where we close on Friday. And we retrace into the 5.0 today again. We went to the 6.0, 618 right here. It's chopping around, setting up to go lower. I still would like to see a couple more weeks before we do chop down. But if we don't get it, if you're bullish, you need to close above this big red bar, which is right around 185.60 before this thing continues higher. Monthly chart, same thing. They're holding it at this low pivot. Just we'll see. Now it's starting to consolidate though, two months sideways. So we'll see if this can hold up and then possibly move higher. But again, we got to get above the inside bar right here before this thing does anything. So that's the DIA monthly chart. Like I said, nothing too crazy. All right, let's get into the IYT. Where'd this one go? See, this one didn't even get that great of a bid either. I mean, this is, they tried. They got the big red bar here. You had some volume on this day as well. No volume on there. Wonder if that was on Friday. Not. This is the IYT. You don't get a lot of volume in here. But look at this. So we go down. We retrace up. We come back in. Retrace up again. I'm thinking the next leg down. If we don't get above this area here, that high pivot, then I think we're going to be on to the downside. Is that even a trend line down there? Not the best. At one point it was. I mean, we came right back into it, never closed above. Now we're right back into it. 750 retrace as well from this bottom to this top. So we're going to see some pretty good resistance there. Again, a news-driven market. It's driving me nuts, to be honest with you guys. All right, and then the IYT, again, lagging indicator. The highs right here was 167.66. Not even close. Not even coming into that area. But we have we've been talking about this great bullish pattern on the weekly. This thing needs to start moving up and to get out of this, or to get over the 145.85 high, and then possibly get up into this 150, 151 area. This thing should blast off. This thing is ripe and ready to roll. And if this pattern doesn't start to roll, this down move is going to be even more vicious. I honestly think we could definitely get into this area here if we really start to dump the 114 area. But, we're going to stop at 125, 126. But if this thing cranks through here, and it's interesting that all these moving averages are starting to bundle together, and that tells me we'll get a gap down and a possible move down on this, because they don't want to deal with all this crap. And right now, to gap this thing to this area and then gap it below the 200, they want all these as close as possible so they could just do it in one shot, and what the deal about support, and just start dumping it. And these guys will come in and buy at support levels and, for short-term bounces. And ultimately, though, 115 area, that's what we're looking for. Monthly chart, same thing. They're trying to get it above this 20 MA. If they do, all the technical guys will come out and be like, oh, it's above the 20. Oh, my gosh, this thing's ready to roll. But you're still not above this area here, the 147.80. which is the big breakdown bar. You need to get above this area and even the 146.01 before it does anything, guys. Again, lagging indicator. We always talk about that. Well, let's get into the USO. That was a fun one today. We took Exxon for maybe, I don't know what it was. It was a good scalp, though. The last, I think it was, I don't even know, 86. I honestly don't know. We did take it. It's on StockTwits. To go back into my buy and sell and all that crap, I don't have the time at this point. But we did. Go to StockTwits. You can see the trade. We took half off and sold half at, I want to say 86.19, and then we shorted it at 86.85. We added twice. We took half off at, I don't know, 86.50, and then sold the other half. No, actually, like 61, I think it was. And then sold the last half at 86.19. That was good. We got into Halliburton. We covered that one for 15, 16 cents, and I should have took the last off, but I thought it would definitely pull back a little bit more, and then the market's caught a bit at the end and pushed it up. I am in Halliburton half position still. If I could get 20, 30, 40 cents out of that tomorrow, we'll cover that. But the USO, let's go to the 10-minute on this one. They had the news, and look at this thing, just launch. I mean, we had the volume come in and everything. It came right up into this area. Let's see what happened here. Look at that. Wow, what a coincidence. Gap window. Then you have a gap fill here. Wow, right to the penny here. Unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Right to the damn penny. Pulls back. That's why we shorted the ExxonMobil. And then when Halliburton came back up again, that's why we shorted Halliburton. You know, so you got to keep watching this. We also took a small position of the SCO. That one can be a beast. So I'm not, it's small. I will add more if I have to. But again, it's a tiny position. This stock can move $10 at a time. And if I, you know what, if I could capture a grand or two on it, great. If I lose a grand or two on it, so be it. Made a lot of good trades in the last couple of weeks, so I'm not too worried about it. But again, let's go back to the USO. We go right back into this trend line. They barely close it above it. We get into this high pivot, and then we try, the gap fill was, God, yeah, the gap fill was like right at the top there at 181. So you got some good resistance in here. We did recapture, of course, we recaptured the moving averages, so now all the talking heads can say, oh, we're bullish, this thing's ready to go, get ready. No, it's not, guys. Still in the massive resistance here. See how it pushed up? And they tried, let me tell you. The only way these markets are going higher if they get this BS news from oil, what else? You know, anything at this point just to keep these markets up. I mean, we were coming back into this trend line here. If that cracked, we were going to be in big trouble. Never filled the gap down here, which was I'm very surprised. Weekly chart, again, we're right back into the same area where now we have the only thing now, though, this is very interesting, we have the 20 and the 50 pretty much tied together here. This is going to be easier to hop it above and keep it going. The 20 and the 50, 1092 and then 1087. We're up a little bit after hours. Actually, we're up almost 10 cents after hours on the USO. So they're going to try to go for this thing because if they could get oil going, the market's going to follow. But at the end of the day, guys, higher oil prices not good for Janet Yellen's evil plan of, you know, just printing money and monetizing the debt and buying bonds and buy programs in the middle of the day and holding markets up at resistance or at support. You know, the same old crap. Every day at 11 o'clock, the markets float, light volume. And today we had 86 million, and that's just because we had that volume coming in from the oil, from the OPEC. For years, you didn't hear anything about the OPEC, and now it's on the OPEC. Oh my gosh, the OPEC. But again, let's see if they could gap it up over these moving averages and try to keep it going. You have the 618 at 1119. You have the 750 at 1162, and you're going to have some really good overhead resistance coming up. Monthly chart, same thing until we get above this bar here, 1172 or so. We're just chopping around in a bearish manner, setting up to go lower. All right, guys, I'm almost out of time here. Thanks again for watching my videos. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at stockbookie@gmail.com. And, man, let's see what happens tomorrow. We're right back into that area where they can actually push it down for 2 days now. You know, up and down markets, not healthy, guys. Again, thanks for watching my videos. God bless. See you on the charts.